Imagine being the CEO of one of the world's most powerful companies, responsible for Mickey Mouse, Marvel, ESPN, Pixar, and theme parks that define American childhood. Now imagine being stuck between Jimmy Kimmel, cracking jokes at your expense, and Donald Trump threatening political retaliation. That's exactly the nightmare Bob Iger is living right now. At 74 years old, he could be sipping cocktails on a yacht, retired and respected. Instead, he's back at Disney, caught in a no-win scenario. Their every move could damage the company's reputation. Kimmel has been suspended amid political pressure, and protesters are already outside Disneyland, waving signs about free speech. It's a story that feels almost too surreal for Hollywood, but it's happening right now, and it puts Disney's carefully polished, family-friendly image on the line in ways the company has never faced before. The clash is symbolic of something much bigger than late-night comedy. Disney is known worldwide as the happiest place on earth, a company that won't even let a scrap of trash linger on Main Street, USA. But today, protesters outside Disneyland are holding signs that say, "The happiest place on earth, as long as you comply." That kind of image clash is dangerous for a brand built on nostalgia and family fun. Free speech has suddenly become the battleground, and Disney, of all companies, is being cast as the villain. Bill Maher even piled on, joking that ABC stands for Always Be Caving, a reminder of when he himself was canceled by the network back in 2002. Add to that the non-stop coverage across cable news and social media, and you start to see why insiders are worried about lasting reputational damage. A boycott of Disney Plus might not crush the bottom line, but the perception that Disney bows to Trump could drive viewers away in droves. And here's the paradox. While Trump remains one of the most polarizing figures in American politics, every reliable poll shows that a majority of Americans actually disapprove of him, which means that if Disney is perceived as siding with Trump, or worse, caving to his demands, it risks alienating a far bigger portion of its audience than it gains. Media brands thrive on trust and cultural credibility, and once that starts to erode, viewers shift their attention elsewhere, to YouTube, Substack, podcasts, or newer platforms like Blue Sky. Brian Weezer, an ad industry analyst, put it bluntly. Self-censorship might seem like the safer choice in the short term, but in the long term, it accelerates the collapse of broadcast television. That's the trap Iger is in. Play it safe with Trump and risk losing younger audiences, or push back and risk financial fallout. Neither path looks like a victory, and yet a choice has to be made. Inside Disney, the pressure is mounting from every direction. Employees are rattled, wondering if their company will stand up for creative freedom or fold under political threats. Hollywood showrunners are furious, speaking out publicly about censorship and corporate cowardice. Even friends and family of Disney executives are reportedly horrified at what they see as a betrayal of American values. But for Iger and his team, the situation isn't simple. Disney is currently negotiating major deals, like ESPN's pact with the NFL, and any friction with the government could put billions at risk. And then there's Kimmel himself. His contract is running out, and late-night TV as a whole is shrinking. If Disney decides to cut ties, it could be framed as a business decision. If they keep him, they're accused of defying Trump. Every option carries risk, and every move is scrutinized under a microscope. Some analysts argue that Trump's threats are more bark than bite. Former Disney CEO Michael Eisner even described them as aggressive yet hollow, pointing out that the president doesn't have the unilateral power to strip station licenses. But perception often outweighs reality. Disney is a massive company, dependent on federal approvals for everything from mergers to sports broadcasting rights. Even if the legal risk is minimal, the political risk is enormous. Morningstar analyst Matthew Dolgan summed it up. Disney has too many moving parts, too many relationships with the government to ignore the danger completely. And in the background, media veterans like Joe Adalian are warning that Trump-loyal station groups may simply refuse to budge when it comes to Kimmel. That puts Iger right back in the no-win zone. Backing down could cost him credibility, but standing firm could cost billions. It's the definition of a lose-lose game. What makes this even more complicated is Iger's personal history. Remember, this is a man who once considered running for president himself, possibly against Trump. He's not just a corporate executive. He's someone who has flirted with political ambitions and built a reputation as a visionary leader. Now he finds himself cornered, forced to choose between protecting his company's finances and defending democratic values like free speech. To some observers, it feels like poetic irony. The man who dreamed of the White House now stuck in a boardroom crisis created by the very president he once thought about challenging. Meanwhile, the world is watching closely. Protesters outside Disneyland, angry employees, comedians lining up to defend Kimmel, all of it paints a picture of a company under siege. And in the middle of it all is Bob Iger, caught in a storm that he cannot steer without capsizing something. Every move Disney makes right now is amplified by the media spotlight. Cable news panels debate whether the company has become too woke or too weak. Social media amplifies every protest sign outside Disneyland, every fiery late-night monologue, every rumor about Kimmel's future. And advertisers, Disney's lifeblood, are quietly watching from the sidelines, calculating whether aligning with ABC and Hulu is worth the controversy. That's the financial ticking clock beneath all the noise. The longer the standoff drags on, the harder it becomes to reassure investors, partners, and customers that Disney still knows how to protect its brand. Yet the irony is unavoidable. By trying to avoid making enemies, Disney is making enemies everywhere. With Trump threatening, comedians rallying, and audiences questioning the company's integrity. The stage is set for Iger to make one of the most consequential calls of his career. So here we are, watching a standoff that feels bigger than just a TV host or a corporate CEO. It's about how much influence politicians should have over what we watch, and whether companies built on creativity and freedom are willing to defend those values when it counts most. For Bob Iger, the decision isn't simply about Jimmy Kimmel's future or even Disney's stock price. It's about the legacy of one of the most powerful entertainment empires in history. Does he stand tall and risk the wrath of Washington? Or does he play it safe and let Disney be remembered as the company that folded under political pressure? Either way, the choice will echo for years, because every American watching this drama unfold knows that if Disney can bend, any company can bend. And that question, who gets to decide what voices are silenced and what jokes are too dangerous, isn't just about Bob Iger. It's about us. And the final act of this story hasn't been written yet.